to all of a sudden being this like just hostile volcanic doomsday land, basically. And then like the decay and the death starts to spread to all the other islands. I don't know if we could do the same thing. Just like kind of like chip out that nugget of fear, that grand vritti. Slowly, all the other fluctuations, they're going to start to fade too. It feeds them, right? Like, we're so scared that we're going to lose the things that we have or not get the things that we want. Right? There's two major teachings in yoga: the craving, the aversion. So here's the question then. If yoga really is this, right? Ceasing the fluctuations in our mind. And in this whole book that Patanjali put out, all his verses, there's really kind of one thing mentioned about physical shapes. And it's that when you're in the physical shape, you want to try to find a balance between like the hard and the soft, the ease and the effort. Okay, so there's not really a definition of yoga as a physical practice of poses. So why do these hatha poses? And knowing what we know about them and knowing how we feel, all the things we shared about them, how does doing that, how does doing physical yoga get us here, get us here? What's the connection? Talk about that with someone else next to you really quick. What do you think? Okay, yeah, go ahead and share. Yeah, amazing. So hatha yoga. You just said that it derives from Tantra yoga and the Tantrikas. Going beyond. What are some of the ways that you feel like you go beyond when you take a physical yoga class? Let's say you're in a flow. You're in a hot vinyasa. How do you go beyond? Beautiful. Breathing in a log pose for 3 minutes. Yeah, flowing in a sun sea. Continuing in a sun sea for 2 more suns. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, all these times that we're asked to push our bodies beyond a limit we thought we had. And in that, we're trying to push our bodies and at the same time feel our breath and allow our minds to just kind of take in this sensation, take in the inhales, the exhales, the respiration. And when we do this, we start to work with our own bodies, right? We can see that, wow, like even if it was for 10 seconds, I held that shape. And I did so with a pretty still mind. Or, you know, I never would think in any given moment that if someone shared with me 15 yoga shapes that all went up and down and twisted and went back and forth and side to side and circled on my mat, that I would remember them all. Or that if I forgot some of them along the way, that my body and my breath would be able to fill in the gaps in that sun sea sequence, right? That's going beyond. And we start to loosen the grip when we do that, right? Our breath and our bodies start to train our minds to understand that, okay, we can do it and we have these things within us. And that physical movement, the watching of the breath, the intense connection to the sensation in our body, it starts to chip out that little heart, that nugget of fear. We work with our minds at the deepest level, right? When we're doing this, when we're asking our bodies to sink into a physical pose, into an asana, and feel it. And stay with that breath. So really, you know, and it's happening all times. It can happen all the time where, you know, our mind is, you know, reacting to things, even as we're sleeping. You know, that's one of the fluctuations that Patanjali mentions in the sutras is nidra, or sleep. But the more and more we do it, we start to lessen those reactions, because you can feel it, right? Let's say you're standing in your house, you think it's empty, and all of a sudden someone comes up behind you They don't even have to say anything, but like the all of a sudden suddenness of their presence, how do you respond? Yeah, exactly, right? What is this? What are you doing? Yeah, tensing your muscles. You stopped breathing, you held your breath. Feel the shoulders pull up and into your ears. Everything feels hard. Okay? And even when you start breathing again, often it's going to be like that high, really like high lung breathing. It's not deep. It's not kind of flowing through your entire body. And that's an exaggerated response, right? We don't always have that occur to us on a daily basis. But if you watch it carefully, sometimes when you get into those states of agitation, like you may have written down or like I shared with my son, my body's doing that. I'm tensing. My breath is holding. It's not a deep breath. But that's why we do the work in the Hatha Yoga, right? We train our bodies to start to disconnect from that fight or flight. That physical poses, they're tools, right? They're not the yoga. They're the tools that help us to pay really great attention to our bodies and feel what's happening in them. And they force us to look at things, to look at ourselves, right? And we can start to find some balance. We learn that even in that tricky place, holding a plank pose for 3 minutes, or flown in the sun sea, or being in a pigeon and feeling the stretch and the tightness in our hips and the release that's there. We start to find ease. We start to find that balance, that equanimity, the ability to recognize that we're okay even here. We don't have to be fearful of what we're not doing. We don't have to grip on to what we are doing, or vice versa. So we've got ourselves, yeah? We can just be in these sensations. We can feel what we are. And we can start to unlearn, right? These physical practices. It's an unwrapping of what's within. It's a disconnection from all these vrittis, these fluctuations, these agitations that often tend to drive us into fight or flight. And we start to dismantle that fear, everyone, right? We're in the moment, we're in our breath, and we're at home there. That's why this practice is so powerful. I imagine to some degree, to some level, it's, what drew you here? To be right here in this moment with all of us, sharing these ideas. And I can't wait to explore more of it with you. Thank you.